Amaka lived a modest yet fulfilling life. Her father was a retired teacher, and her mother ran a small provision shop in the village. Though they weren't rich, her parents ensured she and her younger brother Chijoke never lacked the basic things of life. Now, in her final year, Amaka was struggling. The increased cost of tuition fee, final year project expenses, and upkeep weighed heavily on her family. Still, she remained determined, often taking part time tutoring jobs during holidays to make ends meet. Amaka was known for her beauty and intelligence. She had faced failed relationships during her second year at the university, which left her scared. Her ex boyfriend, a fellow student, cheated on her, leading her to swear off student relationships. It's better to focus on myself and my studies, she often told her friends, who teased her of being single for over 2 years. James, a 30 years old man, was the epitome of success. He ran a thriving import and export business in Abuja, managing operations across Nigeria and overseas. Handsome and charismatic, James was the type of man who turned heads wherever he went. That Christmas, James returned to his hometown for his childhood friend's wedding. Obi and James had always been close, and they never missed celebrating their achievements together. While helping with the wedding arrangements at Obi's family house, James noticed a young lady carrying trays of drinks into the sitting room. Who is she? James asked Obi's sister, Nneka. That's Amaka, a friend of mine, Nneka replied. She's helping me with the wedding preparation. She's my bestie. James couldn't take off his eyes off Amaka. She was so beautiful, and she had a positive aura that makes her noticeable and liked. Later that evening, James found an opportunity to speak to Amaka. She was arranging the chairs under the canopy when he walked up to her. Hi, James began, offering a warm smile. You must be Nneka's friend. Amaka looked up, slightly startled. Yes, I am. And you're who? I am James, Obi's friend. Oh, James. I've heard a lot about you, James. James from Abuja. Wow, guilty as charged, he teased. You've been working so hard today. I've noticed you all the while. Thank you so much. It's nothing. I enjoy helping out. Their conversation flowed naturally. They talked about the wedding, the village, and life in the village. When it was time to retire to bed, James asked, I would love to keep in touch. Can I have your number? Amaka hesitated for a moment, but eventually gave it to him. The days leading up to the wedding were filled with activities, and James used every opportunity to get to know Amaka better. He often found excuses to be around her, whether I was helping her carry items or simply sitting nearby and chatting. Amaka got to know James was a successful businessman, and James got to know more about her schoolings and family. Do you have a boyfriend? James asked one evening they sat outside talking. Amaka, shocked, asked why he asked, and he replied, I want to be sure I'm not keeping another man's wife out. Amaka smiled. Well, I don't have a boyfriend. I've been single for a while now. Relationships are complicated, especially with students. Oh my gosh. James smiled. Well, I'm not a student, so I hope that gives me a chance. They both laughed. After chatting for a while, they both retired to bed. James' question had left Amaka smiling, but her heart was racing. As much as she tried to remain guarded, she couldn't deny the pull she felt towards him. In truth, Amaka wished James was serious about his words. He was everything she had always wanted in a man: wealthy, handsome, and genuinely kind. She was already falling for him, even though they had only known each other for a few days. The wedding came and went, leaving behind memories of laughter and celebration. But for Amaka, the highlight of it all was James. After the marriage, James traveled to town to lodge in a hotel not too far from the village. He sent her a message at late hours of the night, and it reads, Hi Amaka, it's James. I called to know how you're doing. I meant everything I said to you, Amaka. I want to get to know you better. I don't want this to end here. Amaka, who was still in her friend's house, couldn't help but feel alive. She had been waiting for his call or his text that evening. Amaka smiled as she stared at her phone. It felt so good to be true. She texted him back. Let's see how it goes, James. From that day on, Their connection grew stronger. They didn't let a single moment pass without speaking to each other. Amaka, he said over the phone one evening, I don't know how possible this might be, but I really want to see you again before I travel back to Abuja. Can you come see me at the hotel tomorrow? I want to spend more time with you. Amaka hesitated. It wasn't like her to visit a man in a hotel, but something about James felt safe. Besides, Ineka had told her so many good things about him. Amaka responded to him, I don't know you well enough to come see you in a hotel. Amaka, we are friends. You have nothing to be scared of. I'm not that kind of guy. I just want to spend time with you. But no pressure if you don't feel like. After the call, Amaka thought of it. She wanted to take the risks. Deep down, she wanted to see him again and also spend time with him. That evening, she sent him a text of agreement and James happily texted her his address. The next morning, Amaka packed a small bag and made her way to James' hotel. Arriving at the hotel, her heart pounded as she knocked on his door. When James opened up, his smile immediately put her at ease. I'm glad you came, he said, leading her inside. He hugged her passionately and whispered sweet words and compliments. Amaka's stay with James turned out to be worth every moment. His warmth and genuine interest in her made her feel seen in ways she hadn't in years. He spoiled her with food and care. They spent the day talking, laughing, trying different dishes, and sharing their stories. He respected her boundaries, never pressured her for anything. By the second evening, Amaka found herself unable to resist the deep connection they were building. Late that night, as they sat side by side on the bed, she leaned closer to him. I don't know why I feel so comfortable with you, she said softly. James smiled, gently touching her hair. Me too. We are meant to be, I guess. Amaka, who was leaning on his shoulder, sat up, looking straight into his eyes. Amaka made the first move, kissing him. She had never done anything like this before, but in that moment she wanted to. For her, it wasn't about what the future held, it was about the present. Their intimacy deepened that night, and for the first time in years, Amaka allowed herself to let go of her fears and simply enjoy the moment. The late night conversations, cuddling, the warmth James offered became some of the best moments of her life. When it was time for Amaka to return to school, parting was harder than she expected. James held her hands as they sat in the car, preparing to say goodbye. Amaka, he began, looking into her eyes. I want you to stay true to us. I've never met anyone like you before. I mean it when I say I want something serious with you. Amaka nodded, her voice soft. I will, James. You've shown me nothing but care and honesty. Before dropping her off at school, James made a transfer of money to her account. For your school expenses, he said. Amaka checked her phone and saw a huge amount of money that had never entered her account before. She was short of words. She thanked him over and over again till they both parted. She had never expected to return to school fully loaded to clear her school debt and expenses. Returning to school felt different for Amaka. For the first time, she had someone she could call her own, someone who genuinely cared for her. She couldn't wait to share the good news with her closest friends, Chisom and Favor, as well as Neka. When she finally arrived at her hostel, she detailed them everything. Wait, Chisom said, nearly choking on her drink. Are you telling me you visited a guy you barely know in a hotel? Wow, the balls. And he gave you money. Amaka couldn't hold back. She laughed so hard. It's not that deep. You guys should chill. He's not a bad person. Favor shook her head in disbelief. Amaka, where did you find this kind of audacity? Wow. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that he treated you well. But wait, though, are you sure he's not married? Amaka laughed. Not at all. He's not. He's just different. I've never met anyone like him in my life. Her friends teased her, but deep down, they were really happy for her. Amaka knew she had found someone special and she was determined to cherish their relationship. Back in Abuja, James remained consistent. He called her every morning before classes and sent her messages every day. Whenever Amaka mentioned feeling stressed about her final year project, James was always there to listen and encourage her and also send her money. One weekend, Amaka picked up a package he had sent to her. It contained groceries, snacks, and a new laptop for her school. Amaka was overwhelmed. What did I do to deserve this love? She asked during the video call that night. You stole my heart, Amaka. You deserve everything and more, James replied. I want to make life easy for you. I know how school is. I was once there. Amaka teared up during the video call. James' visit to Amaka's school was unforgettable. He arrived unannounced on her sign-out day, bringing her a bouquet of flower and money cake. He took she and her friends out on an expensive date, eating at fancy restaurants and simply enjoying each other's company. That night, as they sat together at the restaurant, James turned to Amaka. Amaka, I want you to know that I am in this for a long haul. You're not just someone I'm passing time with. I see a future with you. You brought light into my life. Amaka felt her heart swell with emotions. James, you've shown me what real love looks like. I promise to do my part. Her friends couldn't stop but cheer them up. Graduation was a proud moment for Amaka and her family. Her hard work and determination had paid off, and now she was preparing for her next chapter, NYSC. While her parents were excited about her future, Amaka had even bigger reasons to look forward to her service year. James had already pulled some strings to ensure she was posted to Abuja, working in his company. When Amaka visited home to prepare for her service, James sent her sweet messages every day, reminding her how much he missed her. When it was finally time for her service, Amaka traveled to Abuja. She arrived at James' house and she was utterly speechless. James stood at the door waiting for her with a wide smile. Welcome to Abuja, my love, he said, pulling her into a warm embrace. Amaka blushed and smiled. She was lost in the beauty of his home. His house was nothing short of a palace. The high walls, large compound, polished marble floors, and the modern interior screamed wealth and luxury. She couldn't believe she was stepping into a life like this, a life James had made for himself. James, this place is beyond words. Your home is so beautiful, Amaka confessed. Wait until you see your surprise upstairs, he whispered, taking her hands and leading her upstairs. The moment Amaka walked into James' bedroom, her heart melted. The room was decorated with roses scattered across the bed and floor. On the bed were two wine glasses, a bottle of fine wine, and a handwritten love letter. And above it all, a large banner on the wall which reads, Welcome to Abuja, my love. Amaka gasped, tears springing to her eyes. James, this is too much. I don't even know what to say. James smiled and handed her the love letter to read it. Amaka unfolded the note, reading it aloud. My dearest Amaka, having you here in Abuja is a dream come true for me. You are the light of my life, the peace I didn't know I needed, and the joy I prayed for. I've waited for this moment to have you close and share my world with you. I can't wait to make more memories with you, my love. Welcome to your new chapter. With me by your side forever, yours, James. By the time she finished reading the letters, her cheek was wet with tears. She turned to James and gave him a tight hug. You make me feel so special. Thank you so much, James. Amaka, you deserve everything and more. He kissed her head. The days that followed were nothing short of magical. Amaka started working at James' company as a corp member. She was given a generous allowance far above what NYSC typically paid. Her work was fulfilling and her colleagues treated her with respect, knowing she is their boss's girlfriend. Living with James was equally blissful. He made every effort to ensure she was comfortable and happy, always surprising her with little things, her favorite snacks, flowers, or spontaneous dinner dates. James admired how Amaka carried herself. She was gentle, understanding, and always knew how to brighten his day. On days when work frustrated him, Amaka would prepare his favorite meal, massage his shoulders, and remind him of how amazing he is. I don't know how I got so lucky. I love how you prioritize my happiness and make me feel so loved, James often told her. You're the one who makes me feel like the luckiest woman alive, Amaka would reply with a smile. As the months passed, James became even more certain that Amaka was the woman he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. Her service year was almost over, and he began planning the next big step, a proposal. One evening, as they sat on the balcony having a heart to heart conversation, James began, You know, I thank God every day for bringing you into my life. Being with you has been the most peaceful and beautiful journey. Amaka smiled, resting her head on his shoulders. I feel the same way. I never imagined I would find someone like you, James. He kissed her forehead and made a silent promise to himself. After her service year, I'll make her mine forever. On the day Amaka completed her service, James planned a grand celebration. He invited close friends and family to a private dinner, but he kept one detail a secret, his proposal. The evening was perfect. Amaka was radiant in a simple but elegant gown, her joy evident in her laughter and smile. As the night grew to a close, James stood up, holding a microphone. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, he began. Today is not just about celebrating Amaka's successful service year. It's about celebrating the woman who has changed my life. Amaka looked at him, smiling. James walked over to her, took her hands, and knelt on one knee. Amaka, you are my peace, my joy, my everything. I can't imagine my life without you. Will you make me the most happiest man by being my wife? Amaka was dumbfounded. James opened a small velvet box, revealing a stunning diamond ring. Tears streamed down Amaka's face as she nodded. Yes, James. Yes, I'll marry you. The room erupted in cheers as James slipped the ring into her fingers and pulled her into a tight embrace. From that moment, their love story entered a new chapter of life, one filled with promise, joy, and the journey of building a life together. For Amaka, meeting James wasn't just the best thing that happened to her, it was the beginning of a lifetime of happiness. Thank you so very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please do well to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Substance TV for more amazing stories. See you guys in my next video. Until then, stay splendid.